Well, I'm going to talk Houston's defensive end combination, DOS, because my takeaway is that the Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter DE combo is the best in the league. They tortured Anthony Richardson today. 19 pressures, 3 sacks, and a forced fumble between them. That's 19 pressures in one game, meaning that for the year they have 76 pressures, 14 sacks between those two dudes. A bunch of teams have 1-star edge. We've seen that. Case in point, Raiders, Max Crosby. And his impact's not what it has been because after a while, you just can't do it by yourself. Even though they've got Christian Wilkins and some other guys, you need some more superstar help around you. And these two are a formidable combo. We liked the acquisition of Hunter in the offseason for the Texans, but we did wonder, well, Grenard's gone out, Hunter's come in. Is it pretty much a like for like, or will this change things? And it's made them better. The chemistry's unreal. It's not just the offense in Houston that's scary. It's these two on defense.
Well, I had a little takeaway that Houston is still just scraping by. I think we spoke about it about a month ago.
They're warming up, I think.
Well, I don't know if they are because they beat the Pats by 20 points, okay? Yeah, you beat the Pats by 20 points. Well done. That's expected. They have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other wins by less than a score.
You're saying that this year's Minnesota, eh?
Well, I think we spoke about that with the Pats, with KC early on as well. Mm-hmm. And KC have probably proven us wrong a little bit. Paddy's come out and he's starting to play quite well. But Houston is sticking around in that little, that field goal touchdown range with every game so far. And it's kind of waiting for someone to pull them up on it. And they've got the Lions in a couple of weeks, Dos. That's the game that's probably going to separate, a few opinions on Houston Texans.
And Stroud's not been at his best, which encourages me because if they're still winning games and they've still got this record, then once Stroud hits his straps, I think they're good.
Well, we need him to hit his straps, yeah.
A lot of injuries though as well.
Yeah, every team does though.
Yeah, I know they've had quite a few, but no, it's a fair point. But that leads into my takeaway and credit to Marchie for this one because he helped me out with that as you smash my feet under the table.
What's going on
Kurt.
here? I'm just trying to cross my legs.
Hey, they're not my legs.
No, they're not.
I got all 3 of them under the table.
Hey, mate, it's not joke of the week yet.
Sorry.
He's brought it forward.
Good on, fellas.
Start printing shirts for 3 of the AFC divisions.
I love this one, Dos.
Go on, hit us, Dos.
The Bills are 6-2.
Yeah,
they're winning the East.
Yep.
They got a 4-game lead.
They got a 4-game lead.
Plus tiebreakers over the Jets and Dolphins already.
The Pats are coming.
They've got to play. They play the Patriots twice in week 16 and 18.
Oh,
so they got them at the back end of the season.
One?
So Josh Allen looked really good. Hawley mentioned it before. James Cook had another great game, and Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir on fire. The Dolphins head there next week up to Orchard Park.
Yep,
and then the Bills go to Indy, and then Buffalo have got KC at home in a divisional playoff rematch, revenge game for the Bills.
Yeah.
Now, the Texans, you spoke about the Texans, but they got a 2-game lead and tiebreakers over the Colts. They've swept them in the series.
Done.
Jags they've beaten, and they've still got to play the Titans twice.
Oh, boy.
So
there you go. CJ hit his straps there.
And the 2 losses that the Texans have had are both against NFC opponents. So that puts you in a good spot in your conference in terms of seeding. So they got the Jets away. The Jets got another primetime game next week as well. This was the issue I raised when we did the strength of schedule and the schedule release. I didn't want to see the Jets so much in prime time.
I thought it would be at least a little better than this.
I didn't.
Who's your mate? Who's Mike North?
Mike North. I'll have a word.
Give him a buzz. Send him a LinkedIn message.
Why. Fly him over, Kurt. Let's do this in person.
Oh, Dos.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a would you rather. Would you rather have an all expenses paid trip to see the Super Bowl or an all expenses
I got a better one.
weekend retreat in the Hamptons one-on-one with Mike North, head of broadcasting
Super
and
Bowl,
fixturing?
because I'll catch up with Mike North at the Super Bowl.
Would you rather do the Super Bowl or set the schedule for the 25-26 season?
Oh, Dos, you get to set it.
I could set the schedule.
You could set it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but would you rather the Super... That's the reaction you want.
I just
Willie's collapsed.
Can't even talk without breathing.
He's lost it.
Oh, man.
Where are we at AFC South? So they're the Texans because I don't trust the Colts and Gus Bradley in that defense to make plays. They give up way too much.
What's the other one?
And then,
Steelers, obviously.
The Chiefs.
Oh,
of course.
Out in the West, right? Chiefs, 7-0.
Yep.
Got the tiebreaker over the Chargers, the Raiders. They're still going to play the Broncos twice. But the Raiders have got the return game in Kansas City, so you'd pencil that in for another Chiefs win. And the Broncos have the divisional loss against the Chargers already. So
Chiefs got a game in hand on the Broncos as well.
yeah. So start printing shirts, Kurt. Get your little divisional cap.
Or
Chiefs 2024 AFC West champions.
It's a ridiculous thing that there's merchandise for that, isn't it? Imagine in any other sport getting a hat printed for making a semi-final.
Yeah, well, I guess it's
well,
not,
you get
it's
one
not
for winning
really.
your division.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
But I
think
guess
it's
winning
weird.
a division is something we don't have that kind of stuff in Australia. We just have all right, you play and then it's an Australia-wide competition.
You want to win your division.
You want to win it. Is it worthy of a hat? I don't think it's hat worthy, is it? Do something
I
else.
probably wouldn't buy a hat.
No.
Would you get one if you were conference champion? Because they print them as well,
No.
and they do in
Absolutely not.
NBA and also all the sports actually.
No, I just don't see the point in any of that intermediate merchandise. You either won it or you didn't.
If not first,
What are we going to do? Oh, week 2 winners, print the hat. Okay. Hawley, what's your next one?
Okay. I got 2.
Go on.
Or
Hit us.
Anthony Richardson will not be the Colts quarterback next year. That's my takeaway from today.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the Saints are officially dead. At what point does Taysom Hill start quarterback?
Wow, that is actually a possibility. Surely not. I mean,
I don't see why they wouldn't. If Derek Carr's not back, Spencer Rattler was no good today. I've never even heard of the guy who's third
Jake
string.
Hayner.
Jake Hayner.
Hayner.
Oh, you talk about him like he's this NFL star that's been around for a while.
I'm pretty sure Doss bought his rookie card, didn't he?
I don't have any Jake Hayner autos.
I think it's
They
time.
went up in value though.
You want Taysom back,
I
do
want
you?
Taysom back.
Why? What's the
Why
point?
not?
They're 2-6. I mean, surely we've got a
much
young
fun that
guy,
would
not
be.
in a 34-year-old tight end.
But everyone loves Taysom Hill.
Yeah, when they're winning, not as a
With trick
quarter.
plays.
Yeah, 3 throws a game.
I think it'd be a good option.
Would you take Anthony Richardson or Taysom Hill?
Probably Taysom Hill.
You know what? He's probably a more accurate passer. I got one, and this is one that I'm very proud of. It took a month, boys, but the rookie quarterbacks are taking over from the veterans.
Yep.
And to illustrate this point, I'm going to reference my September gutsy call. Now, can you remember that, Hawley?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was Caleb,
Yep, Caleb.
Jaden,
Yep.
and Bo
Yes.
would outdo in terms of pass TDs and rush TDs, or
Yep.
just TDs.
Net TD, so pass
Net
plus
TDs.
rush minus interceptions.
Will outdo
Josh
Allen,
Allen.
Patty Mahomes, and
Close. Allen, Prescott, and Burrow.
Prescott.
So it was
and Burrow.
those 3: Allen,
All
Prescott, Burrow, and Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix.
Almost got
for
it
my
right.
for my net touchdown. Very good recall.
Thank you,
I'm
mate.
amazed.
Appreciate it.
Net touchdown. So yeah, pass plus rush minus interceptions. So in that first month of September, I lost 20-4. The veterans went 20
Wow.
net touchdowns. The rookies went 4. In the last 5 weeks, however, the rookies won at 19-15.
Oh, they're
The
back.
rookies are taking over, boys. Allen was 7, Burrow was 8, Prescott was 0. They got 15. Daniels 4, Williams 6, Nix 9. They got 19. So it's happening. Bo Nix is leading the way. He had a great game today. Caleb Williams, he was not good this week, but last week he was very good. And we know what we think of Jaden Daniels. He's been incredible. His stats don't pop as much. He's just more consistent and more solid. I know I've left Lamar Jackson out of this, but if you also add in Patty Mahomes, he's had a very bad year by his standards. And Drake May has looked good in the little that we've seen of him. So right at this very second, there's a real case to say the rookie quarterbacks are playing better than the established QBs
This
are.
is probably the first time that we've seen in the last, since I've been following
Since we're doing with the pod, at
since
least.
we've been doing the post, since I've been following NFL closely enough to actually pay attention, understand it without just being like, oh yeah, I like the NFL. That your first 4 quarterbacks or your early quarterbacks taken in the draft, obviously Michael Penix hasn't played yet, but they all look like they might be hits. When was the last time all these early draft picks were hits in terms of quarterbacks?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I can't think of a year,
especially
over the
like
last-
a 1-2-3 looking this good. Williams, Daniels,
Bo
May,
Nix as well, man.
and Bo Nix at 12. Yeah, McCarthy's obviously jury's out.
We
He's
haven't
in for
seen
the year.
Penix yet either.
Haven't
But
seen Penix.
these guys have actually played, and they're looking like you'd be happy with any. Like Jaden Daniels as well.
But
Above.
compared to the first rounders last year, it was Young, Stroud, and Richardson. So that was 1 hit so far. The year before was
2020 draft's pretty solid.
the year before was Pickett, Ridder. Oh no, Pickett was the only round
Yeah,
one.
that one was.
Year before that was Lawrence, Wilson, and Lance. So that was 1-2-3. The 1-2-3 of Lawrence, Wilson, and Lance compared to Williams, Daniels, and May. And then 2020 was good. Burrow, Tagovailoa, Herbert, and Love. Although Love didn't play early, so yeah, it's probably been 4 years. It's in 4 years. But it's quite an extraordinary performance so far.
But that 2020, they weren't like early picks either, were they?
Well,
I think
Burrow
was 1. Tagovailoa was 5. Herbert was 6.
Oh, right.
Love was 26. So that's comparable.
Love was late. Yeah, okay.
But there you go. It's like an Olympics. Every 4 years this happens. So enjoy it. Dos, finish it off.
Always you smash your laptop there. Fellas, the Lions are ruthless.
They are.
Yeah.
Plus 73-point differential the last 3 weeks. They put an offensive clinic on Dallas and just took the mickey out of them, really, in that game. Ben Johnson had all sorts of fun in that 47-9 win. They put 30 points on the Vikings defense last week, who had been playing really well. And then they just obviously dismantled the Titans today with 52 points. 225 yards of offense, 265 return yards, like you mentioned, Kurt. The defense made plays, picked off Mason Rudolph twice. Kirby Joseph, their safety. 4 interceptions.
He's having a really good year.
On the season.
And 1 called back last week too.
Yeah, he's playing really well. Goff probably won't get any MVP votes from this game because he only had the 28 pass yards to halftime, but he didn't need to because of everything that was going on special teams and how they were still able to play really well. Ran the ball well, as they have done all season. Jahmyr Gibbs was awesome, 127 and 11 carries. And even with no Aiden Hutchinson or Marcus Davenport, their 2 starting defensive edges, they still smash opposition teams. Now, to be fair, the Titans are rubbish, but like they just put point. And that was in 3 quarters, by the way. They didn't score a point in the last quarter of that game.
It's a unique team that just bobs up with anybody when they need them. You know, like Jamison Williams was out as well, suspended. He's been a superstar 1 week and terrible another, and now he's out. And like I say, Hutch is out as well. And Amon-Ra St. Brown with his 7 yards. Yeah. And somehow they put up that amount of points. Everything's working for them. Special teams are huge. Defense is still humming. This is a Super Bowl team.
Dan Campbell is not under pressure. I'm happy to admit that.
It's been lifted. It's finally been lifted.
I don't think he's under pressure anymore.
Ooh, I'm sure he's relieved.
He's really delivered on that promise of taking him a bit further this year. But are they? My worry for them is that they're too good too early, because their point differential, like you said, over the season is plus 100. That teams will now focus on Detroit Lions, and they'll work out how to slow them down and try to beat them. Compared to another, say the Packers are 6-2, or I know your boys, the Chiefs, are still undefeated, but they're just kind of so-so. Houston are so-so, but these are the teams that come playoffs, you're like, oh yeah, we're not too worried about them. We're worried about Detroit. Everyone focuses on beating Detroit, and then these other teams who are, you got your Mahomes, you got your CJ Stroud, like, thanks for coming. Detroit are gone.
I'm not so. I mean, I take your point. I don't think it's about other teams figuring them out. I think it's about this game style being fatiguing. And you can't be necessarily at this tempo and at this intensity for 23 weeks. There has to come a point, Dos, doesn't there, where there's a little dip, and you just hope that dip's not at the crucial end of the year.
Well, that's right, and health obviously plays a big part to that. You have a look at their next run. They've got Green Bay, or they head to Green Bay next week. I'm not confident that my Packers can hold this offense of the Lions, though. I think Detroit will win that game. Then they got Houston away, but then like Jacksonville at home, Indy away, they'll win both of those. Bears, then Green Bay at home, Buffalo, and they've got a little tricky finish with an away trip, or Chicago away, and then the 49ers.
That's not an easy last month.
No, it's not an easy last month. But
Green Bay, Buffalo, Chicago, and 49ers.
And Vikings at home.
Okay,
to
so
finish.
This is no guarantee.
Well, in terms of what?
Well, it's them winning the division and
I think they win
going off in a canter.
I think they win the division now.
I think they will. I don't think it's a guarantee, though. That's a very hard last 5 weeks.
Yeah, it's a tough last 5 weeks.
I guess it's the nature of the division they're in, right? But
well, that and winning your division last year, that's what you get, right? You play all the winners of last year. Well, not all of them, but you play. So the Lions, look, the only concern is that, like Hawley mentioned, peaking too early, potentially. We did see it with Miami last year. But I think this
team's a much stronger team than Miami.
They were just beating up on flat track
Were they?
teams last year. Miami.
Is that your honest opinion on Miami last year?
Will they win the Super Bowl, the Lions?
If you ask me to pick a team right now, yeah.
I like that. That's a good way to end the show.